Do not let love make you weak. Yeah, you heard it right. A man who loses himself in the storm of emotions is no man at all. He is a just slave to passion and a pawn to desire. Welcome back, seekers of wisdom.
Today, we dive into a realm where we understand that the relationships, love and companionship can be the ultimate tests of one's discipline and resolve. There is a certain kind of man, unmoved by chaos, untamed by impulse, and unshaken by the fleeting emotions that so easily enslave the weak. He walks with purpose, lives with reason, and speaks only when wisdom demands it. He is a Stoic, a master of his mind, a ruler of his emotions. What then should a man never do when standing before a woman? The answer lies in the words of the great Stoic masters, Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius. If you seek control over yourself, if you wish to stand firm like an unshaken pillar amidst the shifting sands of emotion, then listen closely. Before moving further, we want you to subscribe our channel Stoic Sense so that we can discuss further about Stoicism in upcoming videos. Let's begin. Here are 9 things a smart man, the one trained in the discipline of Stoicism, must never do with women. 1. Do not reveal your entire past. Your past is a story written in ink that cannot be erased, only understood. The trials you've endured, the battles you have fought, and the demons you have conquered. These are not for everyone to see. To reveal everything to someone who has not earned the right to know is to hand them a weapon they may one day use against you. Not all who listen do so with good intent. Some seek to manipulate, others to judge. Friedrich Nietzsche once warned, "He who fights with monsters should be careful lest he thereby become a monster." Your past, if revealed carelessly, may be twisted, misunderstood, or wielded against you. Guard your history as a king guards his treasury. Only those worthy should be allowed inside. Speak wisely, choose carefully, and remember that mystery holds more power than disclosure. A wise man does not parade his struggles for validation. He does not share his wounds in the hopes of gaining sympathy. Instead, he carries his past with silent strength, allowing it to forge his character rather than dictate his relationships. Women, like all people, are drawn to men who possess depth but do not drown in it. When you reveal your past, do so with intention. Share lessons, not laments. Speak of growth, not grievances. Your past is a foundation upon which your present stands. Build upon it with dignity and discretion. 2. Do not fear being alone. A man who fears solitude is a man who has yet to master himself. The weak seek constant companionship to drown out the silence within, mistaking loneliness for emptiness. But the Stoic understands that solitude is not a curse. It is a gift. It is in moments of isolation that true self-discovery begins. Aristotle declared, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom." To fear being alone is to fear oneself, to avoid the confrontation of one's own thoughts. A man who cannot sit in silence with his own mind will forever seek external distractions, jumping from one relationship to another, never truly knowing what he wants. The Stoic does not fill his life with unnecessary company to escape his own presence. Instead, he embraces solitude, using it to cultivate strength, wisdom, and inner peace. He is comfortable in his own skin, at ease in his own mind. And because he does not need validation, he chooses relationships based on value, not necessity. When you overcome the fear of being alone, you become truly free. You do not settle for shallow connections. You do not beg for attention. You stand firm, drawing people to you not out of desperation, but because they recognize the strength in your solitude. 3. Stop wasting your time. Seneca reminds us, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Time is the most valuable currency a man possesses, yet many squander it on people and pursuits that do not serve their higher purpose. A Stoic understands that every moment lost to trivial matters is a moment stolen from his mission. Weak men invest time recklessly, pouring it into relationships that drain them rather than enrich them. They chase after those who do not reciprocate, neglecting their ambitions in favor of fleeting pleasures. They fail to understand that time, once given, can never be reclaimed. A Stoic guards his time as he guards his soul. He does not waste it on mindless distractions or people who do not value his presence. He prioritizes growth, discipline, and wisdom, ensuring that every second spent serves his greater vision. When he does give his time to a woman, it is deliberate. It is not to seek approval or validation, but to build something meaningful. He is not desperate for attention. He is selective with his presence, and in doing so, he commands respect. 4. Take control of your emotions completely. A man who cannot control his emotions is a man who is controlled by them. Anger, jealousy, desperation. These are the chains that bind the weak, making them slaves to impulses that serve no purpose. A Stoic understands that emotions are natural, but acting on them without discipline is dangerous. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When dealing with women, losing control, whether through excessive anger, neediness, or emotional outbursts, erodes respect. A man who is easily provoked, who reacts impulsively rather than thoughtfully, is a man who has surrendered his power. A Stoic remains composed. He does not allow the actions of others to dictate his state of mind. If she tests his patience, he does not explode. If she withdraws, he does not chase. Instead, he maintains his inner balance, understanding that true strength is found in self-restraint. A woman respects a man who governs his emotions, for he is unshaken by drama and unaffected by manipulation. 5. Do not prioritize her over your purpose. A man without purpose is a man adrift, easily swayed by the tides of emotion and external influence. Too many men sacrifice their ambitions, dreams, and missions for the sake of a woman, believing that love alone is enough to sustain them. But a Stoic knows otherwise. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." When a man places a woman at the center of his universe, he loses himself. He neglects his goals, his self-discipline weakens, and he becomes dependent on her for fulfillment. This is not love, it is servitude. A woman is drawn to a man with direction, a man who walks a path of purpose. She respects a man who prioritizes his mission because his discipline and drive make him valuable. A Stoic understands that love should complement his journey, not replace it. He remains steadfast, ensuring that no relationship, no matter how passionate, distracts him from his greater calling. By mastering these principles, a man does not just become desirable, he becomes unshakable. 6. Do not let external validation define you. A man who seeks constant validation from others, especially from women, is a man who has lost touch with his inner self. The desire for approval is a chain that shackles the weak, making them slaves to the opinions of others. A Stoic, however, finds his worth within. Marcus Aurelius once said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." A man who depends on external validation will always be at the mercy of those around him. He will shape his words, his actions, and even his beliefs to fit the expectations of others, losing himself in the process. The Stoic does not live for applause. He does not measure his value by the affection or attention he receives. Instead, he walks his path with unwavering confidence, unmoved by fleeting approval or passing judgment. When a man stops seeking validation, he becomes truly powerful. He no longer chases, he attracts. He no longer bends, he stands firm, and in doing so, He commands the respect that others so desperately seek. 7. Do not chase, attract. A man who chases is a man who repels. Desperation is the enemy of attraction, and the more a man seeks validation from a woman, the less valuable he appears. A Stoic understands that attraction is not built through pursuit, but through presence, strength, and self-respect. Seneca reminds us, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Many men believe they must constantly prove their worth to a woman, showering her with attention, over-explaining themselves, or adjusting their behavior to win her favor. But the truth is, a man who knows his value never needs to chase. He naturally attracts those who recognize his worth. When a man constantly seeks a woman's approval, he places her on a pedestal, making himself appear lesser. He becomes reactive instead of proactive, bending to her will rather than standing firm in his own. This erodes respect, for people do not admire those who are easily available and overly eager. A Stoic does not seek love through force. He allows it to come to him naturally. He is too focused on his purpose to be consumed by the fear of losing someone. He knows that if a woman truly values him, she will match his energy rather than require him to chase after hers. The strongest relationships are built on mutual attraction, not one-sided pursuit. 8. Do not let disrespect go unchecked. Respect is the foundation of any meaningful connection. A man who tolerates disrespect, whether in the form of belittlement, manipulation, or inconsistency, is a man who teaches others that they can treat him poorly without consequence. A Stoic does not allow this. He understands that self-respect is non-negotiable. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If a man permits others to treat him with disregard, he conditions himself to accept mistreatment as normal. Over time, he loses his sense of self-worth, trapped in a cycle of seeking validation from those who do not value him. This is the path of the weak. A strong man does not engage in unnecessary arguments or emotional retaliation. Instead, he sets clear boundaries through action. If someone disrespects him, he does not beg for better treatment. He removes himself from the situation. His absence speaks louder than any confrontation. A woman respects a man who commands respect, not through aggression, but through quiet strength. He does not need to raise his voice or prove himself. He simply carries himself with dignity, making it clear that he will not tolerate anything less than what he deserves. In doing so, he teaches others how to treat him, not through words, but through unwavering self-respect. 9. Do not let love make you weak. Love is a powerful force, but for the undisciplined man, it can become a weakness. Many men lose themselves in relationships, sacrificing their values, their time, and even their dignity in the name of love. But the Stoic understands that love should never diminish a man. It should strengthen him. Epictetus reminds us, no man is free who is not master of himself. If love causes a man to compromise his principles, if it makes him abandon his ambitions or lose sight of his own worth, then it is not love, it is enslavement. A man must never let his emotions overpower his reason. This does not mean avoiding love or refusing to be vulnerable. Rather, it means loving with wisdom. A Stoic knows that true love is not about dependency, but about partnership. He does not place the weight of his happiness on another person's shoulders. Instead, he remains whole within himself, sharing his strength rather than surrendering it. A man who allows love to make him weak becomes disposable. But a man who remains strong within love commands admiration. He loves deeply, but never at the cost of his own essence. He walks alongside his partner, not beneath her shadow. ensuring that love is a force that builds him up, not one that tears him down. A man who embodies the principles of Stoicism is not merely strong, he is unshakable. He does not allow emotions to rule him, nor does he bend to external pressures. Instead, he walks his path with unwavering discipline, knowing that true power comes from self-mastery. In relationships, he is not controlled by desire or fear, but by reason and purpose. Women may come and go, but his foundation remains unbroken. The world is filled with men who surrender their power in the name of love, who chase, who tolerate disrespect, who lose themselves in the illusion that external validation equals worth. But the Stoic man understands that his value is not dictated by others. It is forged in the fire of his own discipline. He chooses solitude over desperation, respect over attention, and purpose over fleeting pleasure. He is not a man who begs for love, but one who commands it through his presence. If you are still here at the end, it means you believe in adding these Stoic lessons to your life. Do subscribe for motivating us to share more sit in the upcoming videos. In the end, the strongest man is not the loudest nor the most dominant, but the one who remains centered no matter what storms surround him. He does not chase, he attracts. He does not beg, he walks away. He does not lose himself in love, he rises within it. This is the essence of true masculinity, the mark of a man who is not just respected, but revered. Thanks for your time.